it's not like I had a brain there or even I had the body. And they all, well, I guess I'm just gonna die. And hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Anastasia. I'm grateful for you to be here. Whether you consider yourself to be a starseed, a light worker, you have some sort of mission or purpose of why you're here. It's tied to a specific shift that's currently happening on the planet. The experience that I feel called to share today will be about answering the call. At the beginning of my journey, when I was meditating quite a lot and was going through a deep emotional clearing, going through my process, I set the intention to put myself into the time first in the mother's womb and then before birth. Instead of seeing certain life, because that's what I was sort of thinking I will see, I was transferred, my consciousness was transferred to the place, what they call in between. Here I am transferring myself, and in just like nanosecond, I appear to be in cosmos, like just flying in cosmos through the universes, through the universe. It's dark, gray with a little bit of like dusty stuff. I'm just flying, and that experience was like felt with so much sense of freedom, excitement, and joy. And I like to explore where I am. I'm very curious as to what are the surroundings, what do I see. And so to my left, I was so like a planet, and I was like flying so fast because I could see a planet and I was like passing by it. So just by that I could understand the speed is quite fast. And I thought I left, I'm like, ooh, that's cool, I should come and check it out. What's the planet like? As if I could just come and go and see it with so much ease. It didn't occur to me to actually like look at myself or like check how I looked. So I was just like excited and explorative. And then what I realized, I'm not just excited and I'm alone by myself. I communicate to someone my thoughts. I was vibrating at that joy and I was like, oh, that's so cool, having that kind of vibration. And then I can feel the response as well from somebody from the right. But when I look, I kind of don't see anybody visually. Like I didn't see like I was with someone, but I have the inner knowing that I'm not alone. I thought like, oh, let's just go there. We had an intention, oh, we just continue to like on the journey. But at that moment, I've heard like calm. Very like strong and powerfully. And it's interesting because like I said, we were moving, or it appeared that we were moving. At that moment when I heard come, we teleported, or I transported, teleported, whatever you want to call it, quantumly changed my location and appeared in a completely different space. And what I saw in front of myself was like electric white light. It was almost a little bit of golden in it, but it mostly white light. And it was so electric. I was really near it. I was so close. Like it almost, like I was like here and the light was like right there, like a few feet away. And it was not hot. And it was just so interesting. And so I was like, wow. And I started looking up just to see when it's gonna end, and down and to the left, and I could see the dark cosmos behind me, and to the right, and I couldn't see when it's gonna end or begin at the top, at the bottom. It was really huge. Then I've noticed that there's like the whole meeting happening, so it's not just me like invisible thing and the huge thing of light, but it's also like a meeting. And there's it again, it's interesting to explain it in a human language, but it's like there was beings sitting, and it could kind of like would appear like they sitting at the tables, or like around even tables, not even the square, like around tables. There was like few of the tables, and there was different type of beings. Again, it's so fascinating how you would just know, and they would emanate the energy. Like they all had very passionate and some even argumentative discussions. Like it was like there was blocks of those beings on those tables, and they were different energies. So at one table, it's not like they were all the same. They were very different. Like I could see, and because of how the sound and frequency there was, I thought some of them are younger or older. To the very left, I really thought like, wow, those are like ancients of ancients of ancients of days. If you think of that, if you can picture an old tree with like a beard and very low, slow, that deep grandfather voice, that's how it sounded. But I really thought like, oh my god, they are like so ancient. Ancient. And then near them, on the contrary, was very like energetic, very high pitch being that was making a lot of suggestions. And then I realized, oh, they're not just conversing energetically. It appears like they kind of looking and they have like lists and notes, have all the passionate discussions. And so I'm observing this. Nobody paid attention. Nobody stopped doing what they were doing. Some of them were laughing, some of them were like arguing, but I kind of understand, although they were divided by sections, they were there for one purpose, just the different groups were doing different tasks. And then I started being confused to what do I do, because I heard a call, I just appeared to be here. As I thought so, the big white screen talked. So it said, Earth need help. By the way, I called it screen, but I have awareness that it's a great central sun. Okay. So I just didn't want to say it in the beginning because a lot of people have their own perception and understanding. And so I didn't want to put like a first label. I just wanted to be more descriptive as to how like appeared or what did it look like. So everybody will kind of have their own idea and can really picture detailedly, like in details, although it's hard to still explain in our human language, the feelings, sensations, especially because it's not like I had a brain there or even I had the body. It said, Earth need help. No questions asked. I just said, okay, sure. And at that moment, everybody who were discussing and sitting at the tables stopped. Like every single being stopped doing what they were doing all of a sudden. And they all, and that made me really confused because now I'm thinking, okay, I'm here. I'm agreed to help. But then like, and so the whether it was like the ancient tree looking being or the other one on the left, and they said, it's gonna be so hard. And then I took a moment and I remember how I was like, okay, the challenge, you know? I love the challenge. But then also I start thinking, not thinking, but I thought, what's the worst thing can happen? Well, I guess I'm just gonna die and I'm not gonna be able to fulfill my mission. And yeah, that's probably the worst thing. I wouldn't be able to help, right? And so I looked to the right, and so now I felt like really that the being who I was traveling with, who we were conversing back and forth, it was like right there. And I looked at it and I said, it sounds great, like a great idea, no? It sounds like fun. Like, you know, what's okay, we're just gonna die. Wouldn't that be amazing to go? And it's interesting that I was like super like, okay, let's do it. Like without questions, without trying to ask like what's Earth or like whatever, like, you know what I mean? Because to me, it seems like you know, you don't even know like who you are kind of in that state. You kind of nothing and everything. And in between, when you're in between, you just energy, right? So you don't have the memory of who you are. It's very interesting. Or so that's how I perceived it. And the being near me, it wasn't sharing the same excitement at all. It was more like, I was like, yeah, let's do it. It sounds fun, isn't it? Yeah, it totally is, yeah. And another thing, what I distinctly remember, I thought, after I looked at him and I looked to the central sun and I said, what's the one life in eternity? What's the one life in eternity? I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Doesn't matter. I'm just going for it. And it's so fascinating that response of from the sun was that I felt like huge amount of love. Like if you would feel it from your heart, if you ever felt divine love from source, it's like that. It's like gushing love to your being, that I felt so loved. And through that love, I felt like thank you so much. I love you so much for you helping us. Like, you're so loved and appreciated. And it was also give me a sense of feeling that it's like a parental love. So it wasn't just like, you know, when like a soul loves a soul and you have a soulmate. It was different. It felt like parental to me. It felt like, wow, that's like a parents love their child. I did not experience that from parents. So it's interesting that I had that awareness that it's a parental love to a child. What then happened, there is a little, like, out of, like I said, it was had no beginning, no end into the like width and the length. Like I couldn't even see when it's ending and beginning, but I saw the behind. It was just the behind us was like just, you know, cosmos and just space. From that moment, then a little part separated like from the screen, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. There's like a thing separated from it, or like came out of it, like almost, and start walking like to the right. And I understood, okay, like, and we start following with the person I was traveling for our planning session for the earth. This is the story that I felt called to share. So I'm curious to hear if you guys have any of yours, or if you know like any particular fun stories about it, I would love to share. Please leave that comment. Leave it in the comments below. Would love to read it and connect. Just know this, you are supported for anything. If you don't feel like it, ask. Just ask. Ask your teams, ask your spirit, ask higher self for help, for resources, for help with your purpose, for help to go through certain things, and then open yourself up to receive. That's also important. Also important to be receptive to the help. Just find the support. Find the support and feel the guidance and peace that is always available, and love. Most importantly, love. And universe is so grateful for you to be here at this time. Truly. You guys know how to do this. You know everything. You are guided. You are protected. You are made for this. You agree to this. You're worthy and you matter. Thank you so much for being here. Much love.